Alright, so this video is going to be everything you need to know before doing a B18 to B20 swap on a OBD2 Integra. So right now this is the B18. I already did the swap. This is the engine that got left over. So I'm going to tell you everything that needs to be swapped out from the B18 to the B20 because it's going to be different and it's going to be easier to swap it out while the engine is outside of the vehicle and both engines are side to side. That way you don't have to worry about it once it's in the vehicle. So I'm going to go over everything that needs to be swapped out. So first, this power steering bracket, this is the one that's on the B20. The V18 one was different, so I ended up swapping it out. So yeah, this is what it looks like on a B20. It's not going to work for the B18. Alternator bracket is the same. The thermostat housing, everything is the same. All the connections, all the sensors, everything works. The intake is obviously going to be different. This is the B20 intake. It's completely different from the Integra. From the intake that was in the Integra, as well as this bracket. It's also going to have to be swapped out when you take out the intake. There was another bracket right here at the bottom that holds the exhaust. That one's going to be different as well. I can't show you because I already threw it away. The header is going to be exactly the same. All the gaskets for the intake and the exhaust, even though they're different, even though the intake's different, the gasket's going to be the same. As well as for the header, it doesn't really matter. The housing patterns obviously going to be the same. Distributor, you might be able to use the same distributor from the B20 to the B18, but I swapped it out anyways because the wires were different colors and I knew that my distributor was good anyways. Yeah, so the bell housing on the B18, the bell housing on the B20 that I bought was from an all-wheel drive CRV, and it was able to fit into a 5-speed manual transmission, no problem at all. I just had to swap out the flywheel and all that good stuff. What else? Oh, so it's those. Valve cover is going to be the same. Power steering pump, the actual pump is different on the B20 than the V18, at least on this one that I got. The crank pulley is going to be different. You're also going to have to swap that out. This is the one from the B20, so I swapped them out. Since this was an OBD2, it does have the crank sensor. The B20 does not come with this crank sensor, and you cannot just bolt it on because the B20 does not have the holes. It does not have the holes in the oil pump for you to put a crank sensor. So you're gonna have to do a crank sensor bypass on the ECM, or you can just run the ECM from the B20, and it's gonna be a lot easier. Also, this front bracket that holds the motor mount is gonna be different. You're gonna have to swap that out, and I think that's pretty much it. Everything else is the same other than those things that I mentioned. So one thing that I did notice, I did run the B18 ECM, and so I had to do the bypass for the crank sensor. Oh, also, this B18 that was in the Integra is an OBD1 B18, so it doesn't have the knock sensor, and the B20 is not gonna have the knock sensor either. So B20 does not come with a knock sensor. If your B18 has a knock sensor, you're gonna have to do the bypass for it too. And yeah, other than that, direct swap. Other than those components, yeah, the thing that I was gonna say is that since I was running a B18 ECM on the new B20, it is running a little bit lean. So the injectors are exactly the same. So there's no point in swapping the injectors from the B20 to the B18. So don't try that. What I'm gonna try is putting a fuel pressure regulator and spiking up the fuel pressure, see how that works. If not, I'm going to have to tune it or run a B20 ECM. So, that was a lot of information. I'm running out of breath and it's a little bit cold. But hopefully that helped somebody that's trying to do the swap. And you can start taking it apart before you even put it in the car. Save yourself some time. And yeah.